selves. In the second set of 6 chapters, chapter 7 through 12, the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's self-revelation is the main theme, accompanied with details on the discipline of devotion. While Krishna's nature as the Supreme Person is fundamental to any discussion of bhakti or bhakti yoga in the Gita, and is also a very exhaustive topic, I only address those aspects of the divine nature that are relevant to the development and relationship between these 3 yogas. So very briefly, on the nature of the Supreme Person, Krishna in these middle 6 chapters reveals himself as the creator of the world, the maintainer of dharma, and liberator of his devotees from samsara. Prakriti and individual selves are seen as his attributes and are termed lower and higher natures of the divine person. So Krishna claims in Bhagavad Gita 7:6, etad yonini bhutani sarvani iti upadharaya aham kritsnasya jagataha prabhavaha pralayasthatha. Know that all beings have these, Prakriti Purusha, as their womb. Therefore, I am the origin and dissolution of the whole universe. Just as the individual self is the Sheshan over physical bodies, so also Krishna is the Sheshan over all individual cells and matter, possessing the 2 as his attributes or modes. And this connects, again, to the whole concept of Sharira Bhava. Coming back to the development of Bhakti Yoga, as one obtains the vision of the self, the nature of his relationship to Krishna as Shesha is also realized. The source for this unawareness of the self's, individual self's Sheshatva, Krishna claims, is his divine Maya, which is only overcome through devotion, and he conveys this to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita 7:14. Daivihi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Indeed, this Maya of mine consisting of gunas is hard to master. Only those who take refuge in me pass beyond this Maya. This understanding, of course, of Maya is very different from views of Maya in Advaita. For here, it is very real power to create real impressions. As one progresses from the vision of the self and his relation to the Supreme Person by means of bhakti, a truer understanding of self as the Shesha of Krishna develops in the devotee. Bhakti is fundamental in overcoming Maya, and Bhakti Yoga is the spiritual method through which one deepens one's devotion to Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita discusses many types of devotion, but in the first verses of chapter 12 on Bhakti Yoga, Arjuna differentiates 2 types of devotees and asks Krishna which of them is superior. Evam satata yukta ye bhaktha tvam paryupasate ye cha api aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. So those devotees who are constantly steadfast in this way, and we'll talk about what that means next, those devotees who are constantly steadfast in this way, who worship you, and those who also worship the imperishable and the unmanifest, which of these are the best at yoga? According to Ramanuja, the phrase, those who are constantly steadfast in this way, refers to those practitioners described in the previous chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, who engage in actions and consider Krishna as the supreme end. This type of bhakta meditates on the Supreme Person and his glorious manifestation, vibhuti, with infinite auspicious attributes. Those not capable of such devotion can focus instead on the essential nature of the individual self. Who are these 2 types of devotees, and what is the relationship of such bhakti to the previous discussions of karma and jnana yoga? We will consider the devotee who is steadfast to the knowledge of the imperishable Atman first. The Supreme Brahman, distinct from the freed self due to its eternal and unchanging nature, is termed imperishable, akshara. But in this particular instance, it refers to the self in its essential nature, according to Ramanuja. Devotion to akshara then requires meditation on the individual self's essential nature, the pratyag atma swarupa. Such devotees are said to subdue their senses and look upon all beings as equal due to the realization that individual selves present in all beings are of the same nature. They meditate on the self as indescribable, as imperceptible, as omnipresent, as unthinkable, and so on. These devotees also reach the Supreme Person by realizing that their essential self with respect to freedom from samsara, that is life and death, is similar to Krishna's own self. Practice of such kind establishes steadfastness to Atma, or brings about Atmanishta, which is a state or a condition that is required for the ultimate goal of reaching the Supreme Person. Ramanuja cautions that this spiritual method of devotion to the imperishable Akshara is difficult, and so the progress is slow, spiritual progress. The other type of bhakta worships Krishna as the supreme end and desires to be united with him. Such a devotee adores Govinda as endowed with infinite auspicious qualities such as Saundarya, Saushilya, Sarvagnya, Satyasankalpa, and so on. For Ramanuja, the Karma Yogin is such a bhakta who adores Krishna through his works and worships him by means of disinterested actions. Krishna alone is the highest end or goal of all these activities. Due to their great devotion, such persons are unable to sustain themselves without resorting to kirtana, stuti, archana, and are thus exceedingly dear to the Supreme Person. They also dedicate all worldly actions like eating, performance of Vedic rites to Krishna as the sole object, and considering them as worship, meditate on the Supreme Person with no purpose other than to reach him. Commenting on 12.11, the chapter 12 on Bhakti Yoga, Ramanuja deems the Karma Yogin as a true bhakta. So of the two types of devotees, those who are devoted to the imperishable and those who are devoted to Krishna through Karma Yoga, he rules that it's the Karma Yogin who's actually the Bhakti Yogin. So he says, when actions are executed without attachment and are in the form of worship of Krishna, the vision of the self is attained, the individual self. Once the realization of the self has taken place, the veil of avidya is removed completely, and the knowledge that one is a Shesha of Krishna dawns in the devotee, generating exclusive devotion that is accompanied by prapatti. The foremost devotee then is a Karma Yogin who yearns to be the Shesha of Krishna. Those unable to engage in such bhakti yoga, Ramanuja says, must devote themselves to the path of Atmanishta instead, the worship of the imperishable. Though both are discussed as types of bhaktas, only one of them is a bhakti yogin. In conclusion, Ramanuja in his commentary on the Gita maintains the primacy of karma yoga first in its role in the realization of the individual self, which is critical to the development of bhakti, and then also underscores its importance later in the transformation of karma yoga into bhakti yoga. In the first part of the paper, the discussion on the vision of the self, karma and jnana yoga are presented as accessories to devotion, as the realization of the self is a prerequisite to bhakti. Though Ramanuja presents two types of yogas, karma and jnana, in that first section, to attain the vision of the self, he is quite critical of simply engaging in jnana yoga alone. In the context of devotion, karma yoga is superior as it flowers into bhakti yoga. We may see some similarity to jnana yoga in this discussion of the devotion to the imperishable one. However, Ramanuja himself does not utilize that term in the discussion of this type of devotee, instead referring to them as Atmanishta, someone who's sort of steadfast to Atman. And that's the conclusion of my paper. So, thank you.
Whereas in Gita you find it is both knowledge and devotion. So I think these two paths, they take two different directions. I think in this jhana, the focus is more on the antaryami, and it may lead to sarira bhava. Whereas in this case of other Gita thing, it will be due to a worship of this Krishna. So the advantage in Brahma Sutra is that you are able to reconcile both the Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, because it reconciles both the Nivritti Marga and Pravritti Marga simultaneously. So that way it is able to reconcile it much better. So I will give up with the question. These two definitions, how do we do that?
How to obtain the two definitions?
One focusing on jhana,
right,
and the other focusing on devotion, based on knowledge.
I think the the stress on devotion in the Bhagavad Gita is perhaps because of the text itself that he's trying to comment on. Because devotion, bhakti, is a much larger aspect, right, of the text that Ramanuja is commenting on. So I think he has to address that more than the other. I don't necessarily see that as.
Why is it so important to realize self, to realize Brahman?
Because one of the first sort of levels, fundamental levels of ignorance in Vedanta philosophy is this identification between the body and the self, right? Ego and what is really real within us. So, for at least in the Bhagavad Gita, just because of the chapters that the way they're set up, the first chapter on Samkhya, right, talks about the distinction between the body and the self. So Ramanuja has to comment on that, and so the way he develops his sort of spiritual progress towards devotion is then, I guess, I don't want to sound redundant, but is patterned on the text of the Bhagavad Gita. Is that, I hope I've answered your question, but if not, please.
At the same time, he also says, Karmanya Vadigaretu Mahapaletu Kadachana. So, I'm not quite clear. I'm not good at all these high philosophical.
So, I think the question.
I always felt that sheer bhakti will attain the realization of Brahman or whatever, without even knowing absolutely necessary or even.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll answer that. See, in the introductory passage of Ramanuja's Gita Bhashya, Ramanuja is emphatic when he starts the text, Shriyapati Paramakarnikaha. He says, Bhakti Yoga Avatarayamasa. The very purpose of the Gita text is to instruct Bhakti Yoga. Here one must understand the distinction between mere Bhakti and Bhakti Yoga. Mere Bhakti and Bhakti Yoga are two different entities. Mere Bhakti can be practiced, whereas Bhakti Yoga requires a rigorous discipline. That is what Ramanuja insists on this. So, to practice this Bhakti Yoga, you require the realization of one's own self. The Jnana Yoga or Atma Jnana is essential to practice Bhakti Yoga. Whereas for mere Bhakti, that is not the requirement. And as you have marked, in the modern world, is it necessary or not? In this modern world, I think the practice of Bhakti Yoga is difficult because it requires all the Ashtanga Yogas, Yama, Niyama, Asana, etc., which is very difficult, and any one of the element is lagging. Then it becomes difficult to be completed. Whereas, as I said, Bhakti is very easy. Mere Bhakti can be done by anybody. That's the distinction between the two entities. And as you said regarding Dharma, etc., see, this is the difference in Shankar Bhashya. Shankara states, Sajabhagavan Srishta Ivam Jagat, etc. See, he promulgated two kinds of dharma, Pravritti dharma and Nivritti dharma. He created all the Prajapatis to propagate the Pravritti marga, and Sanaka, Sananda, etc., all the Nivritti marga. So these two types of dharma is being taught in the Bhagavad Gita. That's what Sri Shankara feeds in the introductory portion of this. Any other question?
In one of the slides you made a mention that the knowledge of the self coupled with action without attachment leads to vision of the self. Is there a distinction you make between the knowledge of the self and the vision of the self? And if so, what is it?
Knowledge of the self is something that's generated from, well, not generated, but you learn about it from Shastra, right? And you learn that it's different, but knowing is not the same as realizing, which is what happens with the contemplation of the self. So you're kind of working towards that final.
For jnana, meditation, you realizing yourself, we came from God, we have reached God. For the God, karma and jnana is both wings. With the two wings or two wings only we can fly and reach lotus to God.
Right, and I think Ramanuja doesn't
For
make
that
that
only
kind
you
of
take
clear that karma and jnana are related. Yes, thank you.
Any other question? Short of time here.
चतुर्भुज विकासाय पापध्वान्तक्षयाय च श्रीमान् आविरभूत् भूमौ रामानुज दिवाकरः पुरासूत्रैर्व्यासः श्रुतिशतशिरोर्थं ग्रथितवान् विबभ्रे तच्छ्राव्यं वकुलधरतां येत्यस पुनः उभावेतौ ग्रन्थौ घटयुतरलं युक्तिभिरसौ पुनर्जज्ञे रामावरजयति स ब्रह्ममुकुरः. This is a beautiful shloka. The life of Ramanuja, if you see, has been devoted to conflict resolution throughout, even though his life was full of conflicts. Most of the things that I was contemplating to speak were exhausted by Professor Varadarajan yesterday itself. Still, I would like to deal with some aspects that he omitted. The biggest challenge for any philosopher in the Indian context was this conflict resolution. The major philosophies we have are Advaita, Dvaita and Vishishta Dvaita, and of course if you go northwards you have the Nimbarka and other philosophies. Now the source texts for all these philosophers are the same. The methodology was also the same, but still all of them arrived at entirely different philosophies. How that has been made? That's a big question. Now, Ramanuja, as far as he is concerned, his challenge he himself sets forth in his Vedartha Sangraha. Tatra nana rupanam vakyanam avirodaha mukhyartha aparityāgascha yatha sambhavati tathaiva varnaniyam varnitancha, he says. So this is his challenge. There are various sets of passages. So we know this Bheda Shruti, Abheda Shruti. The resolution comes through the employment of Ghataka Shrutis. Then Nirguna Shrutis, Sarguna Shrutis. Here Ramanuja restricts the meaning of the Nirguna Shruti